Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow my socials, and at the end of this video, make sure you smash the like button. I don't even care if you don't like it, hit the like button, okay? I'm just kidding.
I was just joking.
All right, so today we are gonna go over the top 3 mega booty builders. In my opinion, I'm gonna show you how to perform each exercise, and I'm gonna show you different variations of the exercise depending on your fitness level. So I'm gonna try to give you a beginner type form, intermediate, and advanced form, so that way you know all the forms and you can progress through them as you progress with your training. So the first exercise I'm going to be showing you guys is my #1 favorite glute building exercise. I perform this exercise 2 times a week, and that exercise is hip thrust. You cannot have a leg day without hip thrust, in my opinion. It is such a mega booty builder. It is hitting your gluteus maximus. That is the biggest part of your glute. So that is going to give you the round protrusion of your glute. So it is a very important exercise. For my hip thrust, I usually like to either hit it real heavy in the beginning of the week, and then at the end of the week, I will hit it a little lighter, maybe even superset the exercise. But I'm gonna take you through the variations of how to perform this exercise for beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So let's get to it. All right. So I'm gonna start with the beginner form of this exercise. So that's pretty much going to be done either body weight, or you're going to use a lightweight dumbbell. I have a 15-pound dumbbell here. So what you wanna do is find yourself a bench, and the bench, you don't want it to be too high up, and you don't want it to be too low either. So my rule of thumb is try to find a surface that is about as high as your knee length, maybe just a smidge above, but again, you don't want it to be too high up. All right, so once you find your bench, you're gonna scoot yourself all the way up to it. Your back should be straight up against the bench. Then what you're going to do is you're going to want to see where your knees fall on the ground. Where your knees are on the ground is where you're going to pull your feet up. So this will be your marker. You could also use like a lightweight plate or something to put there to remind yourself where you're going to be putting your feet. So you're going to put your elbows up on the bench, pull your feet up to where your knees are, and then you're going to lift yourself up. You want to make sure that your back, say right below your shoulder blades, is where the bench is going to be on your back. So as you can see here, right underneath my shoulder blades, my back is on the bench. This is going to be your hinging point. So you want to be sure that when you're going up and down, you're not just moving the lower half of your body. As you can see, when I come down, my back is literally bending in, and that is horrible for your lower back. I don't care what you see. If you see somebody doing the exercise like this, that ain't it.
No.
Don't do it, because you're gonna hurt yourself in the long run, trust me. All right, so this is how the motion should look. Everything should stay in line with each other. You're hinging at your back. You're not hinging at your lower back. You're hinging at where your back is on the bench. So I have the weight here. I'm gonna put it right on top. You wanna focus it on your legs in line with your glutes. You don't want it to be too high up. You wanna put it right here, because this is where the weight is going to be thrusted, okay? So see my back, everything is nice in line. You wanna tuck your chin in. When you tuck your chin in, it helps you keep everything in line. So I have my chin tucked, hinging at my back on the bench, coming down, and then up and squeezing. Keep your pelvis tucked in, down, up, down, up. You don't want to go too far down, because then you're going to be again pushing your lower back towards behind you, and that's too much range of motion. You don't need to go that far. You want to keep everything in line, pelvis tucked in, down, up, down, up. This is how you're going to perform your beginner version. Now we can move on to something a little bit more intermediate. When you're ready to use a little bit more weight, when you start getting into maybe the 30, 40 pound weight area, you can move it over to the Smith machine. I'll show you. All right, so now we're going to be moving it over to the Smith machine. So you want to grab a bench and put it in. I like to set up my Smith machine from this angle, so like inside of the Smith machine. This just works better for me. My Smith machine is at an angle. I'll show you what it looks like. You can see those, where's my finger? Those bars go angled up. So I put my bench inside and I get it nice and close to where I need it. And then I'm gonna show you what I look like setting up inside. I'm gonna put a little bit of weight on so that way I don't thrust the bar into the ceiling because glutes. I'm just kidding. No, but I do need a little bit of weight on here so I can control it for you guys. And the most important part about doing the hip thrust with a bar is you're going to need a barbell pad. All right, so I got my barbell pad here and it's gonna go right on the bar and make sure it's dead in the center so you can keep yourself centered. And your setup process is going to be the same concept. You're going to get in, sit down with your back completely against the bench, feet flat on the ground to start off. Check and see where your knees are. You're gonna pull your knees up, remember like I taught you. And then from here, high on the bench, underneath your shoulder blades. And then from here, you're going to roll your bar to unlock it. And then you're going to go down, keeping your pelvis tucked in, and up, down, and up. Again, you wanna make sure everything stays in line, chin is tucked. Sometimes, as right now, I feel like I'm a little too close to the bar. The bar is really high up, almost on my stomach. So what I'm going to do is push my bench back a little bit and readjust. Always start your Smith machine hip thrust. Start with a light weight, get a feel for it, make sure your form and your setup is the way you like it before you start adding more weight, because it's just gonna suck if you start doing something heavy and your setup is all wrong. So make sure your setup is good. All right, push my bench back a little bit. Gonna get myself set up again, so elbows. Oh, I missed the part, gotta get my feet right. Bring your feet up where your knees were. Elbows lift you up. Okay, back high on the bench. Unlock your bar, down. Now the thing about the Smith machine is that it's not going to let you go too far down, which is really great. So you go down just to about where you can, everything staying in line, and then what you're gonna do is pelvis tucked in, thrust up. Make sure you hold on to the bar, kind of rotate the bar towards away from the locks. So mine is this way, so I'm gonna keep my hands like this, like a motorcycle, and roll it backwards so that way it doesn't mess me up while I'm thrusting. So back down, chin tucked, up, down, up. Here is this forward-facing angle so you can see where the bar is on my body. Nice and sitting up, straight up to the bench. Check where my knees are. Bring them in. Elbows on the bench, lift off. Oh, my barbell pad going rogue. All right. See where the pad is on my legs? Have it down here, not all the way up here. It's gonna hurt your tummy, girl. Y'all wanna do all that? So you got it right here, rolling it back, squeezing our glutes, but do not throw yourself up high to where you overextend your lower back. That's gonna hurt you. You just wanna come to where you feel that contraction. Keeping that pelvis rolled in is gonna really help you feel that in your glutes. So up, down, up. You don't need to go too far down. Keep yourself nice and stable on the bench. Dying. Because I took pre-workout before this because I'm going to be working out myself. And my heart is like... Yeah! All right. Let me show you how you're going to progress to a free barbell. That's going to be the hardest because you're gonna have to use balance, you're gonna have to use stabilization. When you're doing it as a beginner, you just have a little weight on your hips, all the weight is focused right here in the center. When you're doing it on a Smith machine, all the weight is controlled and stabilized for you. When you do it on a barbell, free, it's all up to you. So let me show you how it's done. All right, so now we're working with a barbell. I recommend if you have clamps, make sure you have clamps on both ends of the barbell. Find some in the gym, order some off of Amazon, keep them in your gym bag, that's an essential. Last thing you want is when you have that weight up and, you know, worst case scenario, you're working on your balance and a weight starts sliding. That pisses me off. So make sure you have clamps on the side. I don't have any right now, so I just kind of contradicted myself. I don't have any right now. I'm at my public gym, I mean my apartment gym, so I'm gonna be using it. No clamps. All right, so once again, your setup is always gonna be the same. No matter how you do this, your setup's always gonna be the same. All right, so back all against the bench, feet are out, see where your knees are. But first, you're gonna pull your weight up to you. All right, usually if you have the bigger weights or if you're at a gym that has like deadlifting plates, all the plates are gonna be the same circumference. Doesn't matter what the weight is. So that helps because it elevates it a little bit off the ground. I'm using these 25s that are here at my apartment gym, and they're tiny. So I gotta roll the weight onto my thick old thighs. Okay, so same concept. Check where your knees are. You're gonna lift yourself off the bench. The hard thing about it being a barbell is you're dealing with a bunch of weight. So you gotta really lift yourself up. So you're gonna, sometimes you might have to even just get your feet up first before you even get the setup. So again, I'm using these small weights, so it's really low to the ground. So it's kind of squeezing me right now. So I'm gonna have to kind of move my feet up, then lift myself, then reposition my feet. But if you're doing it this way, you should.
Sorry, y'all, my microphone cut out for this little bit, but what I'm over here senselessly rambling about is that if you're performing the exercise this way, you should already know how to set
up with the barbell. Get yourself nice and high up on the bench. Get your feet right. All right, place your weight right over where your glutes are in line. And then same concept. Sometimes you might want to take a wider grip to help yourself balance it. Keep your hands facing the same way. You can either do under, you could do over. Don't do opposite because now you have contradicting sides. One's pushing down, one's pushing up. Make sure that both your hands are facing the same way. All right, chin tucked, pelvis tucked in, down, up. All right, not much to that one. It's gonna be hard at first when you first try it because again, especially if you go from using a dumbbell to the Smith machine to the free barbell, you gotta learn that stabilization. I just perform it on the Smith machine. I like the Smith machine. You know, it takes the thought out of the stabilization. I can go heavy on it. You know, that's just how I like to perform them. Occasionally, I'll perform it with a free barbell, but really, you're not wrong for using the Smith machine. If you want to use a Smith machine and you're comfortable there and you get good glute activation on the Smith machine, stick with the Smith machine. Goddamn, a bitch out of breath. All right, now we're gonna move on to my next favorite booty building exercise, and that is the Romanian deadlift, a mega booty builder. I have to do these at least once a week. You can do it twice a week. I only have 2 leg days a week right now. I'm kind of just listening to my body. I'm just trying to hit my leg. I usually hit my legs real hard on Monday. I'll see how I feel. If I feel good, I'll hit them hard again on Friday. As long as your body is recovered, you can train that body part again. I do not recommend training the same body part back to back. You know, break it up, do quads and glutes on Monday, hamstrings and glutes on Friday. All right, let's do some Romanian deadlifts. All right, so we're gonna do Romanian deadlifts now. So I'm gonna start with the beginner form. You wanna find yourself a bench because this is going to teach you how to do the proper form with Romanian deadlifts. It's a hinge movement. You're not just bending down, you're gonna be pushing your butt back and letting your knees bend slightly, but not going into a squat. So what you wanna do when you're first starting off is find a bench, Get yourself backed up to the bench. As you can see, this bench is just a little bit below my knee, and that's perfect because it's going to show me how to let my knees bend naturally as I push my butt back. So you're gonna grab 2 dumbbells, and then you're going to get yourself up against the bench. My calves are touching the bench. My feet are shoulder width apart. Don't want to go too wide, just want to have about shoulder width. And then what you're going to do is keep your dumbbells right on your body. Do not let these come out in front of you. I want you to drag them down your legs like you want to peel the skin off of your legs. They're so close to you. Do not let them stray away from your legs. Okay? Now this is the motion. It's a push back motion. It's not just going down, it's pushing your butt back as if somebody has a string tied to your tailbone and they're yanking you backwards, okay? Now watch as I go down, pushing my butt back. Now the bench is going to help me bend my knees without me completely squatting. So you have your legs up against the bench, you're hinging down. You should be looking at the ground. Find something cute to look at the ground. I like to find a spot on the ground. Got my legs dragging down, and right about here, I feel a tight stretch in my hamstrings. That's as far as I gotta go. If you go any further, you're gonna be using your lower back to bring yourself back up. So I'm hinging, pushing my butt back, slight bend in the knee, but not squatting. Pushing back, going down, weights are dragging on my legs. I feel a stretch. Now, what I'm going to do is push up with my heels, squeeze my glutes, and come in. You don't have to thrust forward. Just come, nice squeeze, back down, neck is neutral, spine is neutral. Feel the stretch, back up. Now I'm gonna tell you a funny tip that I tell my clients when they're performing this exercise. As you go down, you're going to feel your butt cheeks open up. Now imagine somebody coming up behind you and sticking their finger in your butt. What are you gonna do? Whoa! You don't want nobody's finger in your butt. So think of that when you're going down. What I want you to think of is the motion of closing your cheeks in. I want you to think of you protecting your cheeks. So you're going down, they're opening. Now you're gonna push through your heels and close your butt cheeks. Boom, just like that, remember that. You learned that from Erica. All right, now I keep having my head chopped off because I gotta do this widescreen. I'm so sorry. You can't see my beautiful face. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to perform this exercise on the Smith machine, which has actually been, again, I've just been obsessed with the Smith machine lately. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, it's just really been helping me with glute activation and just feeling it more and getting that stabilization. So I'm gonna show you guys how to perform it on the Smith machine now. My Smith machine is at that angle. So if you encounter a Smith machine like this, you want to stand on the part where the angle is coming towards you. So for me, that's going to be on this side, okay? I'm gonna show you guys how to set up. So what you want to do is come up real close to the bar. You want to be no more than maybe an inch and a half away from the bar. So you want to come up real close to it. And if you have a Smith machine that stops really high up, find a small box like a step-up box or something like that, like a short box, so it can give you a little bit of elevation, and then you can use that Smith machine for the Romanian deadlifts. But mine goes pretty low. That's where I need it to be at. So I'm gonna walk myself up real close to the Smith machine. All right. Gonna load up first by picking up the weight with my knees. You never wanna pick up the weight with your back. Just pick up the weight with your knees. So you can go ahead, squat down, grab the weight. So what you're going to do, same concept, you're going to push your hips back. So as you're going away from the bar, pushing your hips back, lowering yourself, you feel that stretch in the hamstrings, and then right back up. Okay. Always brace your core like somebody's about to punch you. Deep breath. Brace your core. Exhale as you come up. Okay, fabulous. Now I'm gonna show you how to do it on the barbell. So now we're gonna be performing the exercise with the barbell. Again, put some clamps on here. I really wish I had some clamps. I gotta order some off of Amazon. Yeah, and you wanna get yourself real close to that bar, about an inch, inch and a half away, all right? You're going to bend down and pick up the bar to get yourself in your upright starting point. So again, you wanna lift with your knees, not with your back. So I'm gonna squat down, grab the weight, and come up. Now, again, I have an alternate grip. So one hand is facing forward, one hand is facing backwards, but I'm gonna switch this each set so that way it has equal effects on my lats. You gotta be careful because it'll give you an imbalance in your back muscles. Your hips back, keeping the bar close, stretch, come back up. There's not much to that one. It's the advanced form. Again, when you reach that point, you should be trained in having your feet placement down, having the bar placement down, your grip down. That's just what the form should look like. So when you get up to that point, that is how you should be performing that exercise. Oh my God. All right, now time for number 3 and the final mega booty building exercise. As you can see, guys, I stick to the basics. I don't do all that crazy stuff that you see on social media. You want to stick to the basics and you want to progressively overload. And what that means is every week you are progressing in the weight of that exercise. So you want to find a weight. Once you adapt yourself to the gym, so let's say you're a beginner, okay? You're an absolute beginner. I start my clients at performing about 12 reps per set, getting them used to the movement, getting them used to the form. I had them perform 12 reps per set with a challenging weight that those last 2 reps are, they really gotta push for it, okay? As you progress, your rep range wants to get to about 8 to 10 reps per set, okay? So you're gonna choose a challenging weight that you can only perform 8 to 10 reps per set. Once you can get to 12 reps per set, you need to up your weight. So if you're able to complete 12, if you're able to complete 15 reps, girl, you need to up that weight. Stop being scared of the weight, okay? The weight is what is going to make you grow. You cannot grow your butt without weight. You have to use weight. If you're doing the same weight every week, I'm sorry, babe, you're not gonna grow, okay? You need to eat your food. You need to lift them weights. Almost said the F word. All right, so third mega booty building exercise, Bulgarian split squat.
You need to leave.
They are brutal. They are difficult to perform. I'm gonna show you a beginning type of way to perform it. It's basically just holding on to something, making sure that you're stable the whole entire time, and you're just going to use body weight. I would recommend starting this exercise about, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks in on your training. If you're a beginner, definitely start about 3 to 4 weeks after you've really nailed your squats, after you've really nailed your hip thrust. You could do box step-ups. I usually have my clients perform box step-ups in order to train unilateral movement, so that way their legs are getting used to doing just one and doing the balance. So the Bulgarian split squat, though, is just an all-around mega booty leg building exercise. I'm gonna show you how to really target your glutes with the Bulgarian split squats, though. Let's go. Okay, so Bulgarian split squats, AKA death. This is how you're gonna set up for beginner movement. You wanna have your bench close to something that you can hold on to. So this is what I'm going to use for my stabilization. So you could get close to a wall. You can even see if your gym has, sometimes they'll have like these random poles, and they're usually for like stretching, or you can use them for stabilization. This is not the kind of pole I'm talking about. This is actually an attachment for the cable machine, but I could use this for stabilization to help me hold one side up as I'm performing the movement. But like I said, I'm just gonna show you how to, come up close to the Smith machine, use the little weight holders that are sticking out. All right, so first things first, we need to talk about setup. I almost tripped and died. First things first, we need to talk about your setup. So you always wanna set up from the ground up, okay? And to target more of your glute in this motion, you wanna have your foot further out in front of you. The closer your foot is to you, the more quad activation you're gonna have. The further out, the more glute activation you're going to have. So I'm gonna start down at the bottom. I'm just gonna place my working foot out in front of me, and then what I'm going to do is just put my foot on the bench and come back, and then I'm gonna check and see, I need to move my foot up just a little bit further because again, we're doing glute activation. So do it as you are pressed up against the bench, starting from the bottom, because then what you can do is push yourself up. Okay, so I'm gonna hold on to this for stabilization. I have my resting foot on the bench. It's just gonna help stabilize me. You're not gonna use that to push yourself up. And then what I'm going to do is hinge forward, push my hips back and hinge forward. And then what you're gonna do is just come straight back, down into the squat, and then push yourself back up. As a beginner, do this with simply body weight and holding on to something. Okay, so let me show you this side. I'm gonna put my foot out in front of me, come down, make sure my foot is good. All right, come back up, push my hip back, and then I'm going to sit right back down into the movement, get a good stretch in my glute, pushing up with your working heel, and back up, down, up. See, I have this to hold on to. You can even use it as a beginner. You can use it to lift yourself up. That's totally fine, but you really want to be pushing through your heel and driving up through your heel, leaning forward so you activate that glute muscle. This probably wasn't the best spot because I might hit my noggin on here. You could hold it like this and just get used to that movement. Pushing up through that heel. Oh yeah, that's all glute, baby. Oh, nice stretch. Coming up. All right, another way to do this is on the Smith machine, so you can have a little bit more stabilization. So I'm gonna show you how to do it on the Smith machine. We is working today, baby. All right, so hopefully you can see me. I know this thing kind of gets in the way, but same thing, we're gonna get our setup. You can use this bar to kind of help you get in your position. So you're gonna start from the bottom, get your foot, you can hold yourself up with this so that way you can get your foot right. And then you're gonna come up, unlock the bar, and then right back into the movement. Okay, and then when you switch feet, leave your foot where it's at and just match your other foot to it. Put your foot back up on the bench and then go ahead and start the other side. So now we're bringing weights into the picture. So put your weights on the ground. Get your setup right. You're gonna put your foot out, come down, see where you are. Maybe scoot your foot up a little bit more. Perfect. Lean forward, grab your weights. Now what you're gonna do, same thing, leaning forward, pushing your hips back, coming down, and then driving forward. Down, driving forward. As you see, I'm holding my weights right here, and I'm just kind of bringing them down close to my knees. Don't let them go out too far away from you. Down, up. Okay, here's the other side. I can just throw myself up on here. I've done this long enough. I might lose my balance a little bit, but I got the setup down. So, here you go. Feeling that glute activation. All right. Another way you can do it is to hold the weight like this. I've been enjoying this way as well. So you're just gonna hold the weight nice and close to your body. Get yourself set up. And then drive up. This you're gonna wanna do when you have a little bit more balance. Okay? Ding. As you can see, I'm coming down into the squat. I'm not going just straight down, I'm driving back into my glutes and pushing forward with my glutes, okay? I'm still trying to catch my breath. I gotta work in that cardio, okay? I'm trash with the cardio and I'm working on it, okay? But I hope you guys learned something from this video. I really do. Those are my top 3 mega booty building exercises. Again, like I said, I like to just stick to the basics. You don't have to do anything crazy. Stick to the basics, work on your progressive overload. Do the same routine 3-4 weeks and just work on building that weight up. I like to keep my compound movements usually the same. So your compound movement is a movement that works out multiple muscles at the same time. So that would be your squats, that would be your hip thrust, that would be your deadlifts, Romanian, conventional, anything like that. Those leg press, that's a compound movement. I like to focus on my compound movements and keep those the same every week. And then I'll sprinkle in different accessory exercises if I want to get a little crazy, you know, I'll throw in some kickbacks and things like that. So it doesn't have, you don't have to overcomplicate things. You don't have to try the newest glute exercise that people show you on Instagram. You know, just stick to the basics. If you need a coach, holla at me. I have online and in-person coaching if you're in the Central Florida area. Online coaching can be done anywhere, but I have in-person as well if you're around the Orlando, Central Florida area. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're curious about the leggings I'm wearing, that's gonna be in next week's video. I'm gonna do an Amazon haul. These are the new Arula. They're like the Amplify dupes that are on Amazon, and I'm gonna give you guys a nice review about them next week and some other things that I found on Amazon. But until then, I'm gonna keep trying to catch my breath. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Got some exciting content coming your way. Smash that like button, follow my socials, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.